What's going on, everybody? Thanks for stopping by my channel today. My name is Daryl and we are in my workshop like normal, and I'm changing things around in here, and I wanted you to see what I'm doing and maybe you have some suggestions for me. Let me turn the camera around and I'll show you what's going on. Well, as you can see, I have my bench completely cleared of everything except for some tools hanging on my magnetic little bars here. I am changing things around, changing my workflow around on my bench here. At the time that I put this in, I thought it was best that I put all my test equipment up on top of this shelf. That way it would have been out of the way while I do soldering or diagnosis, things like that. But that turned out to be a bad decision because all the cables and things like that were hanging down. It was just a mess trying to do anything. Like, I'm reaching through cables to try to get to my soldering iron and stuff like that, soldering tip. So I'm changing things around. So let me know how you guys that have benches and test equipment, things like that, let me know how you guys set yours up. That would be great. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all the test equipment down in here. And so maybe my oscilloscope will go there. I'm going to move my service monitor out here, but maybe to the side. I don't really know. I don't want it to be in the way and get damaged by me like soldering or something like that. So I'm going to try to make my bench a little bit easier to work on things at. So I don't know that all this stuff is going to go back there again. I might just downsize. I need to buy a bench power supply, an adjustable power supply for my bench. I don't do a whole lot of repairs, but I do them every once in a while. And I'm just trying to get this bench set up a little bit more convenient for things, you know. So I've seen a lot of guys on YouTube with their benches, and a lot of them have a ton of equipment, way more than me, and they don't have a real tall bench. My bench here is, show you here. My bench here is kind of a standing bench. I don't really like sitting down when I'm soldering and things like that, but I do have the stool here that I do bring up and sit at the bench sometimes when I'm working. But a lot of times if I'm doing something, I'm standing. So maybe in the future I'll put a bench where it's a little lower and I can sit at it comfortably. Like this little desk I made for everything here. But this is where we're at today. We're trying to figure out how I want this laid out. And I was, if you remember how I got everything, I had all my solder and flux and everything over here, my deoxit, everything over here, and everything I have to go through. I have to reach my hand through everything to get to it. So I thought, well, maybe this drawer here, I'll clean it out. And this top one here is a flat bench, which I use a lot. If you're sitting here at the bench, you can, and you have something that you got sprawled out, you can open this up and set something down on this bench here, or this drawer here, and it'll hold quite a bit of weight, and you can use that also. And then on this side, right here, I have another one. So you could basically surround yourself in benches, So if I come up here and I'm working on something, or if I want to just put it on this drawer here and set it here while I'm operating the service monitor or the oscilloscope or something, and just have the wires draped across, then it makes it real convenient to just kind of turn and work on whatever you're working on. Then when you're done, you just close it back up again. So I thought maybe I'll just put all the equipment down here, and then up on the very top, I'd have room for some other things, but try to centrally locate everything. Service monitor, oscilloscope, or maybe the oscilloscope goes up above, and this in the service monitor here. I really don't know. I like to upgrade my service monitor, or upgrade the oscilloscope to something better. I've had this one ever since I became a ham, and it's time to maybe get something a little bit more newer. and the newer ones take up a whole lot less room, so maybe I'll go with that. So another problem I was having is with everything up on top of the bench here, and all the plugs go behind the bench and then come down to this power strip. Well, that was one of the problems that I had with the Lightning, was this power strip was kind of blocked from me with my oscilloscope up there from trying to reach it to unplug everything when I'm done using it. So I thought maybe for the shelf here, I'd come and mark it and cut this down. It's made, I can just unscrew it and take it apart and cut it down and shrink this up so I can shove it up against the wall and then move my strip over, and then everything will be plugged in, of course, to the back, but then I'll have direct access to these two plugs here. One plug is for my power supply, or sorry, the power strip, and the other plug is for my my air compressor that's down under here. It's down inside here. My air compressor is back here. So it will allow me to unplug those things, so when we have lightning in the area, or we're going to get a storm, I can unplug those too. Now I did have this has a surge protector on it, but I don't think it's that great. But I'd rather just unplug everything. So if I had to do this all again, I'd probably put some kind of master switch over here where I could just turn all the power off to everything in here. Now I do have my my sub panel in here, but I don't want to start switching that on and off, the breakers on and off. So maybe I just put a separate switch to turn off the outlets here and separate the power. So we'll see. I got some plans in the future for my shop, so I'm not going to fill you in on it yet, but I am making plans to do something major in here that will change around everything that I do for the ham radio hobby and the woodworking hobby. And another problem I have is getting wood dust all over everything. And you can see the top of this thing is just covered with wood, with dust. So, and it gets all over my tools and everything. So I want to change that whole deal. So what would you do? Where would you put it? I mean, I know you don't really know much about it. I don't have a whole lot of stuff, but I'm going to be adding some things and updating things, because some of the stuff was given to me by other hams and I've used it, and it's time to just move on and kind of move forward and get some newer equipment in here, and that's going to change the way that I do everything. So like the tools up here, it was a good idea at the time. It's not a good idea right now. It's just, they're in the way. It's not convenient. It's convenient in a way until you have to stick your hand back there, and then you're bumping it and everything else. Then this mess here, my jumpers and everything, that's a mess. I hate it. Every time I go to pull one thing off, everything falls off. So I need to redo that whole area over here. And I always thought that I had everything in my drawers here, but all my drawers are full of stuff. So I just don't have the room in here for everything. I got radios in there. So I need to get organized on my bench. So I just put this video out just to kind of get an idea of what you guys would do. And moving forward, I will, it's going to be a project that's ever changing, I guess. But I'm going to try to cut this top shelf down and make it shorter and maybe lower it a little bit. I really don't know. I think I might lower it a little bit. That way when I am standing here, like, it's pretty good here, but anything I'm looking at probably eye height. Not bad. But down here, like with a service monitor or everything, there's going to be a big gap between the top, a big gap between the top of the service monitor and the bottom of this. So I'd like to maybe lower this thing down by maybe a few inches and see what that does for me. I got plenty of scrap. If I don't like it, I can change it back. And then make it so I can unplug and plug anything into that power strip and make it convenient for me. And then also be able to unplug the power strip and the air compressor when I'm not using them. Then of course I have a 240 plug right there too. So I have 240 there, 240 here, and then I got a regular duplex outlet there, and then another double over there. So almost like every other outlet has a 240 except for here, And then under the bench, under the desk here, there's just a regular duplex. But then as I go all the way around the whole shop, it will be every other one has 240 outlets. So there's plenty of power out here. I did all the electrical work myself. And there's plenty of power, but, you know, times are changing. So I didn't know what I was going to do. Like if I want to plug in an amplifier or something like that, I need a little bit more power. But you never know what you're going to do with your shop. So I just kind of, you know, made it future-proof a little bit by putting the 240s in everywhere. So yeah, I'm well powered out here. But what would you guys do? Would you move all your equipment down low and then have the shelf for something else, like maybe the solder and all that? Or what would you do here? So I thought about making some little trays to hang on the wall to hold all my deoxit and my cotton buds and things like that. But yeah, it's time to change. I'm done fooling with, you know, getting scrapes on my hand and everything from trying to grab stuff out from behind underneath these tools, you know. So I need to change all this around and make it a little bit more convenient. All right, well, this is going to be a short video. The skin cancer. I got a call from my doctor, and it seems they got it all out. So I'm in the clear for that. So now, tomorrow, I'm scheduled to go in and get my stitches put in. So hopefully I made it past the worst part of that. I'll tell you, you got to stay on top of your health. A lot of people don't go to the doctor and things like that. You know, my suggestion is to do as much as you can. If you have insurance, use the insurance. You know, sometimes you can't buy the things you want to buy. You know, if you're into a hobby like I am, sometimes you have to sacrifice and not buy something because you got to pay a doctor bill. But you know what? If you're not here, there'll be no doctor bills, but there'll be no fun either. So you'll be not around anymore. So my suggestions are to stay on top of your health, and you know, you're going to thank yourself for it later. You know, you're going to, at some point, we're all going to die a horrifying death. You know, we're all going to die of something. So I'm just trying to prolong it. I'm not saying that going to the doctor is going to save your life every day, but it will push you one step in the right direction anyway. And just take care of your health. You know, if you're not here, you know, I don't know everybody who's subscribed to my channel, of course. But I certainly, you know, don't want to see my numbers go down because people didn't take care of themselves. So, you know, take care of yourself. I've learned a lot since I got alpha-gal syndrome and this now, you know. You know what, when I was a young kid, my mom used to tell me, oh, you look so good with a tan. Get out there and get a tan. But in the end, I ended up with this. So hopefully it's the only one I'll ever see. And it's caught early, so that's great. And I got good news today for it. So tomorrow I go in and get it all stitched up. And I'll probably have to have the stitches on for a week or two, I imagine. And they'll take them out. And then I got a little bit of healing time for that. So I hope to, I don't think it's going to slow me down in anything I do in here. I haven't been able to do any woodworking or anything involving dust or, you know, doing any kind of strenuous anything. I did mow the lawn, but I just tried to take it easy with that. This thing here is, if you've looked it up, man, it's basically a round hole dug into your skin. By about, I don't know, by about that deep. I'd tell you, you could take a quarter and lay that quarter inside there and be inset into my body. It's really pretty freaky. And yeah, so today is my last day to have this like this, and then tomorrow I get stitched up. So I'll show you the stitches. I don't know if you want to see this. It's just nothing I've ever seen before, and it's hard to believe that they could do that to your body. You know, and look it up. It's called slow-mos. Just look up skin cancer slow-mos technique or treatment, I guess, and take a look at other people. But it can be really small, if they had to take something out that's really small, or it can be as big as whatever you have on your body, you know. So you want to try to get it early. I mean, any of this kind of stuff you want to get early, but this did not get caught as early as it should have been, and so the hole's a little bigger. So like I said, it's about the size of a quarter, probably about a 1/16 of an inch deep, or if not, like 3/16. It might be about 3/16 or something like that. I don't know. I didn't really look at it much because every time I look at it, it makes me sick to my stomach. And it's really something. So we'll see how that heals. The doctor told me I will have a scar, so we'll see what that looks like. So I'll have another story to tell. But anyways, that's what's going on over here. It's quiet over here. I haven't been able to do much. I'm looking forward to getting the stitches in, because then I can kind of be a little bit more active. So sometime, I've been ordering stuff like the computers and stuff. I told you that in the last video. And yeah, it's been a kind of a pain, because you know, when you order the stuff, it's a large amount of money, and then your bank wants to hold things for fraud alert and all this and that. So it's just been a lot of talking on the phone with the vendors that I'm buying the stuff from, and a lot of talking to the bank and getting limits raised, for 24 hours, so I can order this big amount of stuff, and get it here. But it looks like things will start coming in tomorrow, and then I'll slowly start getting things back to normal here. I'm hoping sometime next week I will have a running computer back out here again, and I'll be able to roll the 6-meter repeater back over here again and start working on it, because we got to tune the receiver. So I got to get my service monitor out here, and then we will check the sensitivity on the receive radio and get it all tuned up, and then set the audio levels and the controller, and then I think we're done with that part. Can't think of anything else I need to do. I probably need to write a list of all the things I need to do, but we'll get that done, and then we turn our attention to these big cans sitting next to me over here. We will have to lay those down on their sides. I'll probably get my my two sets of or my two sawhorses out and kind of lay these things down on top of that, and then kind of get them over here by my bench, and we'll tune those up. That'll be interesting, because I've never tuned 6-meter cavities before, so I'm sure it's no different than any other one. But what I'm really interested in is the plungers at the top. When I go to tune those, how far out are these plungers going to be? Okay, so those are the whole tuning of the filter there. So based on what that is going to be, how far they come out is really kind of how much more we're going to have to add on to the building up there at the repeater site to house these things. So I'm really kind of excited to see what that turns out to be. And now these cavities were not specifically made for ham radio. So we will see if they'll actually tune for the frequency we're going to use them on. So we'll see. And if not, I got to call the manufacturer and see if I can get some caps to go in there, little capacitors that go inside each one of the cans, and see if I can get these tuned to the ham band. So I'm really excited to see if these things go to the ham band and easily, and I don't have to do anything, or do I have to get a hold of the manufacturer and get some parts from them and see if I can get these things tuned. So far, I've talked to them before, and they said they can do that for me. They can get the proper caps in there, tuning caps to get these to the ham band if they won't work. But we'll see. So a lot of unknowns. Then after that, then we have a couple more repeaters to work on. And we're trying to make this whole suite of computers. Jesus. That's all I can think about is computers, because I've been trying to get these computers ordered and everything. It's been such a mess. Repeaters. A whole suite of repeaters. So I have a 2-meter repeater, a 6-meter repeater and a UHF repeater all on one controller on different ports, and we'll be able to link and unlink any of the 3 together. So that's going to be cool at the end. They're all analog, no digital. I don't think there's going to be any digital. Maybe the 2-meter will be digital, but it's probably going to be in analog mode. But we'll see. But I'm looking forward to that. And the whole the UHF repeater, I already started working on that before, and then I had to stop that for a while. So we have to order some channel elements and retune this thing for the ham band. So that'd be a whole exciting little thing to do. And yeah, so lots of stuff. And then of course, what's going to happen with my other equipment, my other radios, like the 400 that blew up? Do I order a new board to put in there? Or do I try to repair this one, or do I send it in? It depends kind of on the insurance company, what they'll pay. If I send it in, if I buy a new one, they'll give me a little bit more money back. If I send it in, I don't think I get anything. And if I fix it myself, I don't get anything more. So really, the way to go is just to go out and buy a new one. Just go out and buy a FTM 500 and be done with the whole thing and get a little bit more money back. It's all kind of a crapshoot. Like I've got some of these computers that I bought, computer monitor, internet stuff. It's kind of wait and see what happens with the insurance company. They have money available to pay me more, but I have to show that I've bought things to replace the things that were damaged and can't be replaced any other way. So I can't find another new one exactly like that. So I upped the amount I pay on something, but there's a little bit more money over there in this column to shift to me. So it will reimburse me for some expenses like shipping costs, taxes for buying this stuff, all that. So we'll see. It's new to me. I've never done this before, so it's all new to me. So I'm finding out the good and bad of everything. And I'll try to keep you posted as to, how it's working out. But right now, I've ordered some big items, lots of money. And, they only have so much money to play with. So it's kind of you're jockeying things around. There's money in this other column. But if you run out of the money that they gave you, then you can't buy those other things. Like if I ran out of all the money buying stuff and I didn't do this wisely, I could run out of money, not have enough money to buy the FTM 400, at least not out of the money that they gave me. I'd have to use my own money, and then I wouldn't get anything back from the other column. So I got to keep things, so what I've been doing is the items that have the most money in this column over here that's available, I've ordered those first. And then I submit the receipts to the insurance company, and hopefully they will accept it and give me that money in this column, give me that money that they have set aside to replace those items. Because a lot of the things, they don't make anymore. So I had to get alternative ones, so the newer version of something. So we'll see what they do with that. So I don't know if anybody out there that's watching this video has gone through this before, and maybe they have some ideas of what to do. But this is the best way that I found to do it, is just the ones that have the most money in this column over here is the ones that I replace first, because that'll keep money shifting over to me so I can buy the other ones that don't have a lot of money. So yeah, it's just a big game. Like if you went out and bought all the replacement stuff for the columns, for the ones that are in the column over here that don't have a lot of money available to give back to you, you'd run out of money, and then you couldn't buy those other bigger items. It's just, unless you pay for it out of your own money. So I'm trying to just keep within the money that they gave me from the insurance. So it's crazy. They don't tell you what to do. They don't give you any idea the right way to do it or why they do it or whatever. But I think they just, in the end, they want you to use the insurance money to rebuy the things that you bought. Now, in my life, those are the things that I use all the time. So I need to have them. I need to have a computer in my shop. I need to have one down in my radio room. I need my test equipment. I need all the networking equipment. So I need those things. So I didn't go too far. I mean, you can sometimes, money has, what do they say? Money has no limit or whatever. But I could just pay a giant amount of money for a networking equipment that I would never use the whole capability of. But I don't want that. I just want what kind of I had set up before because it worked, and then go out and find the newer ones of that because the ones that I had, they don't make anymore. So it's a little bit more money. So I think that's why they have this column over here, because they know that things you're replacing aren't the same cost as the things you had already bought, so, or that were damaged. So definitely my advice to you is whenever you buy a big ticket item or any item, set that receipt aside and mark it what it is and when you bought it or whatever, and make sure you keep track of it, because at a certain time like this, you forget about how much money you paid for things. So you don't think something like this is going to happen until it does. So now I'm going to take pictures of everything that I buy. Not everything, food, no. But any kind of thing that's decent value. I will take a picture of it and maybe take a picture of the receipt. They don't really ask for the paper receipt. They just asked if you have receipts, how much you paid for something. But if you can have a picture of a receipt and just store the picture and maybe a picture of the item and the receipt together or whatever, and just store that, you would be way ahead when things like this happen. I mean, you can have a separate drive, like a removable drive that just holds your inventory, and then put that in a safe, and then you will be great, because you can go back in there, look at the pictures, look at the receipt, and when you're making your list on the insurance company, the link they send you, you make a list of everything, their value, when you bought it, blah, 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 model numbers. It'll make it so much easier to go on that disc and just look at what you had bought and what it cost you, and then you have proof. So that's just a thought that you might want to do that, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So anyway, I just thought I'd give you another update. Every day something changes. So every day I go along, I'm getting closer to getting my stuff that I lost replaced. And I'm getting closer to getting back on the road again out here in the shop on both sides, really. And my health's getting better. Had finger surgery, just all kinds of stuff. My finger's great. I had trigger finger first on this one. This my ring finger. I had trigger finger on that. A year later, this one gave me trigger finger. So I had surgery on both of these fingers. And this one I just had surgery on, is feeling better and better. It takes about 8 months. Like the other one, first one took about 8 months before it was 100% flexible and everything. And this one's coming along pretty good. It doesn't really hurt me anymore to bend it. I can't quite, you can see I can't quite close it as much as I can the other ones. You see here, I can't, this is the one I had surgery on. This is the other one. The first one, the second one. So I can't quite close this one all the way down. But as it heals more and more, it's getting more and more flexible. And it doesn't bother me anymore. So, yeah. So, yeah, I'm turning 61 this Saturday. So, that's what happens, I guess, when you get older. But you got to stay on top of your health, Eat some fruit. I'm sure my wife is going to say, yeah, you need to eat more fruit. And she's right. I do. I need to eat better. But I'm stuck in my ways in some things. But anyway, that's what's going on out here. I just thought I'd pop on here again and make another video to tell you what is going on out here, and how much excitement is going to be happening here when I start to work on these repeaters again. Because, you know what? I want this stuff out of my shop. It's taking up a lot of room. These guys, they just bring this stuff over here and say, hey, make this. So it's taking up a lot of darn room in my shop. So I need to get this stuff out of here. But don't tell them I'm complaining about it. I don't want them to know. But I'm not really complaining. I'm having fun with it. It's exciting. I can't wait to get this 6-meter repeater on the air. It's going to be fun. It's almost there. It's almost ready. So I'm hoping that these cans, they tune easy. And there's not a lot of messing around with that. When I tipped one up, when I tipped them all up, my wife and I had to tip these things up. And they're not light. They're hollow, but they're not light at all. They're heavy. And when we lifted up, I heard something banging around, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was one of the straps or whatever. I'm like, oh my God, something's loose inside. So we'll see when I get to working on that. I will see if they are all right. But you'll be here with me when I tune them up. So we'll see together what happens. And then when we pull that receive radio out of the 6-meter repeater, I'll put it up on the bench, and then we'll check the sensitivity on that. And then there's most likely going to be an adjustment that needs to be made on that. So I don't know who got this thing on 6 meters, you know, and what its past is, but we will probably have to do a little modification for that, hardware mod. So to really get the sensitivity up on that, because I want it to be able to hear really good. So we will do that. But the transmit radio, I think it's fine. I think it don't need nothing. It's going to be just fine the way it is. But we will check that out too. But it's basically done. So, and then only other thing I need to do is finish the programming. Just finish the programming for the 6-meter repeater part of it, and then I can always add to the program when I add the other repeaters in, like the linking programming, the logic there involved with that, and maybe some special commands for things, timing, like link. We want to link this, have this thing auto link at certain times of the day, and then delink itself and when the net is over, like when our morning net is on, the repeaters were all linked together automatically, and then sometime after the net ends, it will automatically unlink. So you'll be here for that when we program those in. So anyway, that's all I got. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for subscribing. It means a lot to me. When I see the numbers go up for the subscription, I don't have a lot, but it does make me happy when I see people subscribe and want to come back here and see what I'm up to, and maybe give some ideas of, you know, what your ideas are, and anything really. What kind of antennas should I put back up on my tower again? I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't have any HF up there, and that wasn't the plan for this tower to begin with. But what kind of antennas would you go with this time? We'll see. I don't know if the 13B2 is going to make the cut this time. I had a lot of trouble in that one video putting this thing together. I wasn't happy with the quality. Didn't get any kind of customer support from MFJ, and now they're going away, so that's not surprising to me. But what should I put up there? I've looked at some European built 2-meter beams. And then what should I do as far as polarization? I ran some a contest over the winter time, the winter heat contest, and that's pretty much simplex, vertically polarized type stuff. No SSB, but I kind of like to be able to do both. So I like, do I buy another beam and just put that one horizontally and keep the 13B2 vertical? And then I have to have room for my 6-meter. I am putting a 6-meter beam up there and a 6-meter vertical on a sidearm. So I got a lot of plans for that tower, but also I want to put up a second tower. That would be an HF tower. It's not going to be as tall as this one, but then I'll put an HF beam or two on that. So anyway, that's what's going on out here with me. And I want to say thank you for being here today. Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for commenting, and I'll try to start answering some comments as soon as I get my computer going again, so I can sit down and answer the comments. So that means a lot to me. But thank you for being here. Thank you for thinking of me and the well wishes I've gotten. I appreciate that a lot. So until next time, we'll catch you later.